Welcome back to the Newell Elementary Science Fair Project Student Handbook. In this video, we will be looking at experiment projects, specifically Step 2, Research Notes and Testable Question, found on page 4 and 5. By now you should have picked your topic and gotten it signed off by your teacher by December 1st. For Step 2, even though you are doing an experiment, you do still need to have a little research about your topic, because you need to know about it before you start doing your experiment. And it may be you already have a bunch of knowledge about your topic, but this is where you can record some of that information. The resources section is where you write what book or website that you got your information from. Maybe it's just your own personal observation, but you need to have 3 different resources here. This is just the starting place for where you put your information. All notes should be located in your logbook. Your logbook is a vital part of your experiment. It's where you keep your notes about your topic, your observations of your experiment as you go through it, and it will be turned in with your display board when it's time to turn in your entire project. After you know a little bit about your project, then you'll be ready to create your testable question. For your testable question, you want to be thinking about what kind of question you can ask that you're going to answer with your experiment. This is where you can go back to Step 1 and look at those 2 resource pages on the internet that can give you some ideas. The first one, allsciencefairprojects.com, has a search option. You can type in any keyword that you need to find a project idea for. You can browse by topics, and then they have some links to other useful sites. There's also Science Bob, and in Science Bob, they have a list of possible questions that you could use to guide your experiment. So you could pick a question and either use it just as is, or you could tweak it and change it to something you're more interested in, but it gives you a good idea of what an experiment is. When you're picking your testable question, you need to make sure that you are doing an experiment, not a demonstration. It's very easy to confuse these two. A demonstration is simply showing a science concept. It's something you probably already know the answer to, like mixing baking soda and vinegar. Most of us know what happens when you mix baking soda and vinegar. You get a chemical reaction, foam and bubbles come up, and it blows up all over the place. That's not an experiment. You already knew what was going to happen. You aren't comparing anything. You're just showing what happens when you mix the 2 chemicals together. An experiment, you don't generally know the answer to your question. You're trying to find out what happens. And so a lot of times you are comparing something. Like they have the example here. What fertilizer works best on plants? So you have a control plant that doesn't get any fertilizer, and then you test out several other different fertilizers with it to see which one does the best. Then you get results and you compare them, and you can say, okay, this one worked the best for the plants. You're striving to get an answer to your question based on what you did in your experiment. So keep that in mind when you're picking your testable question. Once you have your testable question, you record it and you're ready to then move on to Step 3. Some examples up here include kind of sentence starters here for what is the effect of blank on blank, or how does blank affect blank. You don't necessarily have to have your question worded this way, but it's a good idea to think about how this could apply to your topic to help you to create your testable question. This testable question and the rest of Step 2 is due on December 8th.